Hey everyone, welcome back to Crypto Cash. Thank you so much for joining me here. I hope you're having a phenomenal day. Let's take a quick look here at HBAR. Getting a lot of requests for this one, so I'll try to be more consistent with it. Macro perspective still looks good. We're honoring our ascending trend line here, remaining above that 200-day SMA. That's generally a very favorable sign. So what we're going to do is take a quick look at the back-end liquidation data, kind of go from there. And if you are new to the channel, just ask you quickly, hit the like button, maybe even comment below. Love to hear your thoughts and kind of get you back on track here with consistent updates, of course. So last thing I want to look at, actually, no, let's start with the obvious here. Oops. Okay, here we go. So open interest, we'll talk about that here in a minute. Let's quickly recognize here, first of all, 21 cents here is that upper liquidation range just above the price action. I wouldn't say it's just above, but it's a little ways away, but it's just above the local high, okay? And a lot of times you'll see concentrations of liquidation occur at those areas. That basically just tells us here locally there's some people shorting that range. Makes sense, but if the price gets a little closer, it would also make sense for us to squeeze that out to see a little cup and handle type of pattern form. We'll talk about that in a minute, but 23 to 24 cents is still that macro liquidation range. We talked about that a few days ago here when I last covered it. That hasn't changed much. And now that we've broken our descending trend, we're establishing higher highs and higher lows. There's a solid chance we do continue higher. However, we don't want to be completely naive and believe that we're just going to go up because of that. We do have a liquidation delta shifting bearish, basically telling us we have more bears than bulls in the market right now for HBAR, and that there's more people selling than buying at this point. So that can be very unfavorable. Oftentimes you want to go with a trend, and right now, even though the macro trend is up, short-term trend is down. Okay, so just kind of be mindful of that when you're taking entry. Oftentimes I like to just kind of wait for that to shift its momentum, and once that occurs, then I consider going long. At this point, though, we got an open interest area at 20 cents, just a little over 20 cents, more like 20.3, and then, of course, a lot more above us. So this kind of implies and reinforces resistance above us, and that's breaking through those resistance ranges may be difficult, okay? Because open interest above reinforces resistance, and it holds the price down, kind of suppresses it, if you will. So all that said, let's take a look at the daily and kind of recognize from a daily perspective, we're looking pretty solid here. The overall sentiment is good. Okay, so we're looking pretty good here. We're not above the 200-day SMA, and we're barely maintaining the 20, but these are all very good signs in the sense of establishing higher lows consistently. So it reinforces the fact that further upside makes sense. It also reinforces the fact that we had a lot of support at this 19.2 cent range I talked about previously. That area held like a champ. So we're looking pretty solid there at 19.2 as that next potential, or sorry, that current local low. In other words, previous high turned into a new low. That's just how it's supposed to work. So that's great. It does imply further upside, pending Bitcoin doesn't run to the downside, okay? It's always, every analysis I make on altcoins has to have that little caveat there. If Bitcoin doesn't have a bad day, if Trump doesn't send another tweet, it's just kind of, those things are synonymous. We did get a tweet from Trump, of course, that sent the market in a downtrend, and that was because the 50% tariffs on EU, okay? So a lot of just dumb stuff that's happening in the market. It's difficult to gauge, but most things are bullish, and HBAR is one of those coins. We don't have a tremendous amount of like convergence here telling us that we're going to break out, but we're maintaining above all the important levels, and we do have a MACD convergence trying. It's not quite there yet. So 4-hour time frame. We're seeing this on most coins right now. We're seeing a MACD divergence and a stochastic swing to the downside, basically just telling us that we shouldn't expect a run to the metaphorical moon. But a lot of that comes with a caveat. Is Bitcoin going to maintain 110,000, or is it going to keep breaking down? If we can't close over 110 today, I'm feeling like we're going to see a continuation lower, but that's just me personally. I hope I'm wrong and everything goes up this weekend. But 3-day holiday weekend, stagnant price action, I'm not sure what we're going to see. It's going to be a mess. There's no other way around it. So having said that, the 4-hour time frame has mostly diverging signs here, letting us know that we're not out of the woods yet, but we're above all moving averages. That's probably the most important thing here. Until we start to lose those, I think we're in pretty good shape. So I would recommend waiting, honestly, to take a trade, but locally, depending on how you look at it, we're right here close to our point of control. If the price does come back down to that low 19 cent range, I may consider entry. I'm going to go ahead and set an alert here just to be safe in the upper 18 cent range. If in fact that were to come to pass, maybe that's a good consideration for a position. It really just depends on how Bitcoin's performing at that time. So between now and then, I'm not going to take a long in the blinds. You shouldn't either. It's just not the responsible thing to do. I'll always shoot you straight and try to get you the most responsible trading techniques possible. And at this point, no trade is commonly a good trade leading into a Friday unless there's significant bullish convergence. One coin, just a quick little bumper sticker here. Solana has a pretty good setup. Okay, that's the only coin I'm long on right now at this point. And that's kind of where we're at. So we'll see what happens. Either way, I'm going to post a playout chart in our Twitter, Telegram, and Discord. It's always available for you there. It looks a little something like this here. So if you're not familiar, join us. Get your learn on. There's a lot of good stuff there. Also join us over at Bitunix too. There's a Tesla up for grabs this month with some nice trading volume. You can qualify at any time. You just got to use my link to register. So check it out. Link's down below. Anyways, they're a great exchange. No KYC or VPN required. I hope you all have a good rest of your day though. Thank you so much again for being an awesome part of my life. We'll see you soon. Take care.